Yo guys, in this video, I have something cooked for you. Because in this video, it's not gonna be very superficial. We're not gonna talk about how to approach a woman or how to do tactic X, Y, or Z. No. In this video, we're gonna go very, very, very deep. In this video, we're gonna deep dive into your psychology. We're gonna really figure out where it's actually going wrong in all this. What's actually wrong? What the really core foundation of this all is. And spoiler, it's validation seeking. In this video, I'm going to explain what validation seeking is, how it affects you, how it affects the relationships that you have, how it affects you having the ability to attract women in your life, where it comes from, and how to fix it, obviously. So, sit down, get a coffee, get some food. It's gonna be a long one. So sit down, get coffee, get food, and take notes. This is gonna help you a lot. And let's just jump into this. First things first, let's start with validation, what it actually is. Because if we're gonna talk about it, it helps if you know what it is that we're talking about. What is validation? Validation really means you needing someone's validation, you needing to, the other person needs to approve of you. And the key here is need. You need the other person to approve of you, because otherwise you're gonna go a little bit crazy. You're gonna get a little bit anxious, and you're gonna think like, oh, what's going on? Is everything all right? Basically, what it is you seeking completion. It is you seeking love. It is you seeking the feeling that you're good enough. It's you seeking the feeling that you are loved and that everything is okay and that you're safe. That is it to a very deep level. On the surface, obviously, in the beginning, it doesn't look like this. Like, it's not, when you're approaching a girl, you're not going to be like, love me, please. So on the surface, this looks very different. It's way more subtle. We will jump into that. But before that, I want to dive deeper into validation. Now that we know what it is you needing something from someone else. It's you needing someone else to approve of you, someone else to love you, someone else to tell you that you're handsome, someone else to tell you that you're so smart, whatever. You need that from the other person. And always when you need something, it by default confirms a lack. So it's because you lack something that you need it. You need food because you lack it. No. And here it's the same thing. You need her to tell you that you're so amazing because you lack that feeling by yourself. And before we talk about the solution, I want to dive even deeper here. Because where does this all come from? Because I'm here to tell you, like, it's not your fault. And I'm also here to tell you, you are definitely not alone in this. So many men struggle with this. And the funny thing is that all these men, they're going to go on the internet, how to pick up girls, what's the line? They're in my inbox. They're saying, yo, there's this one girl, I really need her. And what do I say to make her fall in love with me? Brother, nothing. It's frustrating to me because there's two completely different issues. I just know from experience, from what I've been through, and from the thousands of women that I've dated, I just know that you needing her, thinking she's the one, and really wanting, like, what do I say to make her fall in love with me? I know what's going on there. I know this dynamic because I have been you. I have been in that dynamic. I know that that is the ultimate approval seeking. And I know that you having that psychology, you being on that level, is the exact reason why you're not going to get her. Even if you're going to get her, could be by luck, you're going to lose her. And I know this because it's based on years of experience in my own personal dating life, but also with coaching. I can just see it. I can smell it, dude. I give a dude a handshake and I just know. I know his game. I know his seeking of validation. I know how good he is with women. I know it immediately. So I'm here to tell you that you're not alone in this, and that this is a problem that is very, very deep and that is very, very solvable. But just because it's super, super solvable does not mean that that's going to be easy. So let's really take a look at where does it come from. Validation seeking, it can come from multiple things, but a lot of times it comes from trauma. It comes from a childhood where you were emotionally unsafe. Could be your parents, could be that something happened, whatever. I know, for example, because that's why I know all this, I have been there. Like I was always seeking validation from women. That's also why I got so good with them. Because I needed them to approve me. So you get really good at that, right? But at a certain point, and this is also what I wanted to dive into, at a certain point, you're going to come to a place where it's like, what am I doing? What is this? You know, I remember being in Sao Paulo and I was traveling there 3 days in a row. I was walking the street and I wanted to go to a forest because I wanted to go into nature because I've been stressed. And want to go to the forest and I see a girl and she's distracting me. And before I know it, I'm talking to the girl. Before I know it, we're having a drink. And I kid you not, 3 days in a row, I didn't reach the forest because I went on a date with a girl that I found on the street. So immediately we went on a date. And then when we went on the date, I took her home 3 days in a row. And when we were at my place, we had sex. And then after that, I always felt like, okay, now you have to go. I want to be alone because I need that distance. Also, the same thing, it's nervous system work. I need that distance. I would send her home, I would order pizza, and I would sit on my couch watching a fucking stupid Netflix series. And then I sat there, and the first day when that happened, I was like, pretty dope. You know, it's fun. You know, I met her on the streets, I took her home, like, I'm a G. The validation. Now I'm a G. Before I wasn't, now I'm a G. Interesting. Second day was, whoa, okay, 2 days in a row, pretty gangster, I would say. But then the third day, something happened. I sent the girl home, and I'm on my couch, same thing, in my underpants, eating pizza, watching a series, and I'm thinking, and I'm like, is this it? This feels very, very empty. Is this really it? Is this what you're doing it all for? For these experiences where you just put your penis in the vagina and you send her on the Uber back home and then you're like, yeah, I'm cool. Sad. And that's when I realized I have a problem. I need to work on this. So to come back to the point that I was making, where does it come from? It comes from one place and one place only. And that is lack. And that can come from multiple things. I know for me, for example, I've had some traumatic experiences in the past. I've had some traumatic experiences in love. I had some traumatic experiences in friendship. And for me, that completely shaped my life. My whole life was built around this. My whole life, I was starting to prove myself, proving them wrong, and proving her wrong. And I need to do it for them, for her. And that changed my complete life. But that's so ultimate because now everything I'm doing is to prove them wrong. It's the ultimate validation seeking. Anyways, it could come from a lot of different places. Could be that you went through something traumatic, but it can also be just your upbringing in your first years. A lot of times it's actually that one. For example, if your parents or caretakers, if they weren't there always emotionally, then what can happen is you can wind up with an anxious attachment style. What does that mean? That means it's people who really need this validation to a very deep level. If you're watching this video, most likely you have an anxious attachment style. And it can come from there. It can come from when you as a baby, when you start crying, maybe one day your parents immediately come, they're like, hey baby, what's up? Oh, love you. And you're like, okay, good, I'm loved. Sick. But the other day, maybe, you cry and nobody comes and you cry and you cry and you cry for 15 minutes and then they come and you're like, oh. And for a baby, if you're crying, it has a reason. So maybe you're hungry, maybe you need love or whatever. And if you don't get your needs fulfilled as a baby, you will die. You will literally die. So in these younger years, when your brain is not so developed, you're experiencing death. Like you're experiencing like a possible death, which is fear-inducing because we all want to survive. So if that happens a couple of times, then what winds up happening is you're going to learn that the world is like this. Like, okay, sometimes people are there for me, sometimes they're not. But I need them. And then when you're in a later stage in life, what's going to wind up happening is you're going to attract relationships where you're going to have the same dynamic, where sometimes you get approved, sometimes you don't. And then normally, if you are securely attached, which is someone who's completely healthy attached, they always got all the love they needed, emotional support, all that. If someone is securely attached, what they experience, I mean, nobody can approve of you all the time, but what they experience is if someone disapproves of them or they're not getting the approval that they seek, they're going to be like, yeah, it's fine, right? It's life. Like, yeah. But if you are anxiously attached, what's going to happen is you're going to be like, she's going to leave me. She's going to leave me because she didn't like that I farted. And now she's going to leave me. And oh, fuck, if she's going to leave me, I'm going to be alone. And then you're experiencing this same fear of death. You're experiencing the same fear of death. That's why it can feel so intense. But enough about that, because I know for a lot of you, it doesn't even feel that intense because you never got that deep into the root of it. So a lot of times in your situations, it can really be very subtle. It can be double texting, back at the surface now. It can be double texting. It can be just that look that you make after you crack a joke. You know, like someone who's security attached who doesn't give a fuck, they're like, they crack a joke and they're just like this. Someone who's anxious, they crack a joke and they're like, look at you like, did you like that joke? Did you like it? Or you liked it? It can be over-investing. It can be qualifying yourself, proving yourself to her, really doing a lot of effort. It can be acting needy. Like, it can be many, many things, and it can work in very, very subtle ways. Now, it also works the other way around. Obviously, women, they also are with this subject. They're also integrating with this subject. They also deal with this subject. Women, they got all the validation that they need. If they make an Instagram, they get the validation. Like, there's 10 guys every day hitting her up. You're so beautiful. You wanted this, you wanted that. Like, she gets all the validation that she needs. So for a woman, that's why, and this is a completely different subject, but I'm going to dive into it really quickly. It's like a little bit technical. That's why for a woman, what you always want to do is the only weapon that you have, the only thing of value that you have, it is your attention. If you are like the other guys, if you're just giving your attention, oh my God, you're so beautiful, you're so beautiful, you're so beautiful, you're part of the problem, and she will never respect you. If you are like the one out of one, and you value your attention, so you only give attention if it's being reciprocated, or if she's showing you good behavior or whatever, then you give attention. If she doesn't give you good behavior, if she's not grateful for your attention, or it's not appreciated or whatever, you completely pull back. That's really how you can use this validation seeking into your advantage in the dating pool. Because then she's going to see like, okay, all these guys, they give me validation for free. All day long, validation, validation, validation. But what's going to wind up happening is that you're not those guys. Your validation actually means something because that's the validation that she wants. But in order to get to that point, the one thing you can do is to strategize and think about it. And okay, she said this, now I say that, and or you can heal. You can really make sure that you deal with your validation behavior, that you deal with your attachment style, that you deal with your internal traumas that happened in the past, and that you approach this from a psychological perspective, but at the same time, you want to move forward, so with a coaching perspective. And I will talk about that a little bit later because they go very well hand in hand. But for now, I wanted to explain this a little bit, so where it comes from, and so that you have a very good, clear idea on that. Now, let's talk about what next. How do you solve this? We're going to solve this in the following way. There's two things that you can do here. One, going out in the real world, getting real exercises, just like always. It's two things. One, going out in the real world, getting a real feedback from the real world. Two, doing the internal work. So these two, they work really well together. You're going to do internal work, thereby change your mindset, change your energy, change your emotional state. And then with that state, with that energy, you're going into the real world, give that energy to people, and you're going to get feedback from people. Now, I know that this sounds vague, so let's go a little bit more surface level. What does it mean? For example, you're going to do, simple example, you're going to do visualization. You're gonna visualize yourself as someone who's completely full, who's completely happy, completely loved, and you're really gonna feel it in your heart. You gotta think about it like, how would that person act? How would that person move? How would that person think? You know, you're really going to create this version. And then when it's really, really clear and you can feel it in your heart, then you're gonna go in the real world and you're going to act like this person. Does that mean you're gonna talk to all the girls all the time because you changed? No, it's gonna be subtle, it's gonna be slow, but it's gonna work. Because what's gonna wind up happening is that before you know it, you're talking to someone where you're buying food. Before you know it, you're having a conversation with a grandmother on the street. Because you emanate this energy and people feel it. So you're gonna do different things, but people are also gonna respond to you differently. If you were to imagine that you are completely full, completely loved, where you're just so happy and so abundant and your cup is so full and you just want to share with people, you just want to express yourself, what's going to happen is that people, they're going to feel this and they're going to confirm that, right? And then what's going to happen is in the beginning you need this confirmation because you're going to need the people to confirm your identity in the beginning. But then sooner or later, you're going to see, I can be that guy. I can just be that guy. It was all about giving myself permission to actually be that guy. I can love myself. I can do it. I can be happy. I can give people good vibes. I can talk to people. And people love me. Not all of them, but I can be that guy. I can be the guy who doesn't need the love from all the people. That is what you're going to see happening. And that takes time. And as I said, it takes two things. It takes one, the internal work, visualization, meditation, therapy. Think of IFS, internal family systems, EMDR, the trauma therapy. There's multiple things. You can look it up yourself and you can find a way that works really well for you. Combined with visualization and meditation, where you really switch your neurochemistry, where you really change your brain, you literally transform your brain, and you jump into a new identity. Combined with going out in the real world and experimenting with this new identity, trying new things, talking to girls, showing your personality, saying that risky thing, and then getting feedback. Okay, interesting. You do this, what's gonna happen is eventually you're gonna achieve a point where, sure, you like love, sure, you want to be validated. Everyone does. It feels nice if someone tells you, wow, you're so smart, wow, you're so handsome, wow, you're so charming, whatever. Of course it feels nice, but you're not gonna need it anymore. And that's the most important thing. Because if you can achieve that point, it's merely self-expression. You're just out and about, expressing yourself, doing what you want, saying what you want, and the people who come, the people who come. The people who go is the people who go. And you're okay with that because you have yourself. Now, the most amazing tool for this, day game. Why? Day game forces you to face your fears. Day game forces you to see your self-image because it's gonna be right in your face. If you see a girl, she's at the bus stop and there's 30 other guys, are you gonna approach her? Yes or no? If you want to. So you see her, you're like, wow, I want to talk to her. Are you gonna approach her? It says a lot about you. No? Why not? This is where you can go deep. Why not? Yeah, because there's other guys. What does that matter to you? Yeah, because they're gonna see it. What does it matter if they see it? Yeah, because maybe I fail. What does it matter if they see that you fail? Yeah, because then they think I'm a loser. What does it matter if they think you're a loser? They don't approve of you. You see what's happening there? And that's why day game is such a beautiful way to deal with this. Because with day game, what you're gonna do is you're gonna face those fears. You're gonna go there, and I had this too, dude. I failed miserably. I have had so many embarrassing moments in my life. But that made me the man I am today. And for that man, I'm very proud. So what you're gonna do is go up to these people, well, this girl, and maybe it's gonna go wrong. It happened to me. You're gonna go over to her, you're gonna say like, hey, blah, blah, you start a conversation, and she's gonna be like, okay, I'm sorry, but I don't really want to talk right now. It can happen. And all the guys, they're gonna be like, and that's fine. You just walk away, you're like, hey, still single, ladies. Crack a joke out of it. Have fun with it. Who the fuck cares? It's gonna feel awkward. It's gonna feel painful. And that's good. Feel it, because that's really good feedback. You can really check in and be like, what is this that I'm feeling? And really allow yourself to feel it and allow the feeling to run its course. And then you hold yourself. You're like, I'm proud of me because I just took that step. And 99% of men would never do that. And that makes me so brave. And I just grew. I grew a pair of balls. I became more courageous. I took the right step. I'm proud of me. Even though it didn't work out, I love myself. I did great. That's it. Now you're learning how to soothe yourself. Now you're learning how to calm yourself. Now you're learning how to approve of yourself. That's it. That's why Day Game is such a beautiful mirror. That's why Day Game is a really amazing tool to get yourself to become independent of approval of others. So this is really what it is. This was a very, very deep dive, and I know it's a little bit of a long video. For those of you who watched the whole video, you're the real G's. Like, you will get there. If you're still watching, you're the one. And go experiment with this. So to recap, we talked about where it comes from, how it shows itself in your dating life and all of that. But also we talked, and this is more important, about how to fix it. Outer, inner. Inner is meditation, visualization, therapy. Outer is going out in the real world, facing your fears, getting feedback, and then when you get the feedback, do the inner work with the feedback. If you do this, if you keep doing this, it's going to be an upward cycle, and with experience and with time, you can be someone who is going to be fully independent of approval, who can approve of himself. And that's really when your dating life transforms. Now, if you find this valuable, just subscribe, like. If you have a question, put down a comment. And if you want to do coaching with me, you can go to my Instagram and DM me coach, and then we'll talk about the possibilities of working together.